What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And well, it's official. We're in a recession. Or is it? Well, the GDP is now down for 2 quarters in a row, which most people think is the official definition for a recession. But the White House is saying, well, it shouldn't be. They're trying to change one of the definitions for a recession. Yeah, as you can see here, the U.S. economy has shrank again in the second quarter. The Bureau of Economic Analysis here says yesterday. The GDP of our country, a wide-ranging measure of economic activity, has fell yet again for the second quarter, this whole year basically, on an annualized basis now from April through June. Basically, our economy is not growing, it's shrinking. That decline marks a key symbolic threshold for the most commonly used, albeit unofficial, definition of a recession as 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth. The negative dip here from Thursday's data was on the second quarter GDP activity, data that will be revised 2 more times. We'll see if they change it, right? Was driven mostly by a decline in inventory levels. Businesses in recent quarters have tried to replenish stockpiles drawn down by the pandemic and in trying to adjust for supply chain inventory problems. They found themselves overstocked at times when consumers have pulled back on some purchasing because of inflation pricing. Investments made in inventory during the second quarter were therefore lower than they were in the first quarter. The general takeaway is the economy is slowing. That's what the Federal Reserve wants by raising interest rates, to slow down this inflation. Although Thursday's initial estimate marked a sharp drop from the 6.7% economic growth we had in the second quarter of 2021 from last year, we're now negative 0.9%. So we've gone from a 6.7% growth of the economy to last year to a negative 0.9% growth of the economy. What a significant change that we have here. Of course, the White House still thinks that we're not in a recession. Mostly because of the jobs that we have. Unemployment remains very, very low at 3.6%. I do get that point of view, just being as a middle of the road kind of guy. That is an anomaly that we normally don't have that type of normal. In most recessions, we have high unemployment. We don't normally have very low unemployment. So the White House is kind of using that as an outlier that we don't normally have. But I think that a lot of people are like, well, I get that we have this one outlier, but everything else is saying this inflation is just ravaging people, and we're in a recession. I mean, most of the analyst banks are saying we're in a recession. It's the inflation that's the big problem, and it's making people to spend less. GDP is down 2 quarters in a row. People are spending less. Housing is down. And we're starting to see, remember, mortgage applications are now at a 22-year low because of how high interest rates have gone. Well, here's what the government has to say. Here's what the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen.
And here's the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen.
Moment for our economy, and it presents an opportunity for us all to take stock. Coming out of the depths of the pandemic, the United States experienced an historic economic recovery, a rebound that's unmatched in our nation's modern history in its speed and scale. Right now, even in the face of global headwinds, including a war in Europe and successive variants of the pandemic, Our economy remains resilient. Our unemployment rate stands at 3.6%. Household finances are strong, and industrial output continues to grow. This outcome was not preordained. In January 2021, when President Biden and this administration took office, the unemployment rate was at 6.4%. 834,000 new jobless claims were being filed each week on average, and 20 million Americans were receiving unemployment benefits. Only 1% of Americans have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and over 3,000 people were dying from the virus each day. In many respects, by the time President Biden took office, our economy had been brought to a standstill. At its core, our remarkable progress since then has been driven by this administration's policies, particularly through timely and targeted fiscal support in the rescue plan, combined with a vaccination effort that allowed businesses to reopen and Americans to get back to work. Over the course of the administration, our economy has created over 9 million jobs, and the labor market is now at full employment. In 2021, we saw the biggest single-year decline in unemployment on record and the biggest year of economic growth in almost 4 decades. Fixed investment has recovered to pre-pandemic trend in just 2 years. By comparison, in the last 2 recessions, this never happened. And during this time, we also reduced the deficit by $1.5 trillion. These statistics are not abstractions. They represent American workers back at work, families with more financial security, and businesses, small and large, that have been able to hire and grow. As President Biden has said, we've entered a new phase in our recovery, focused on achieving steady, stable growth without sacrificing the gains of the last 18 months. We know there are challenges ahead of us. Growth is slowing globally, inflation remains unacceptably high, and it's this administration's top priority to bring it down. We know how difficult higher prices can be for families, how they can squeeze a household budget, and how challenging the past 2 years of disruption caused by COVID-19 have been. And that's why this administration mounted an historic vaccination campaign to get the pandemic under control, and why we're laser focused on bringing down prices. The same factors that have driven inflation to record levels internationally in peers like Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Eurozone, those factors are hurting Americans as well.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The big question here is, and I'll let you answer this here in the comments, is, so are we in a recession or not? You can let me know. Yeah, I know what I think. I'll let you, I won't sway your answers here. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Meanwhile, we're seeing retailers like Walmart and other major retailers here, like Target. You'll see here, Walmart just confirmed it's doubling down on a summer of sales as prices for everything from department store goods to high-end watches get deeply discounted as inventory is stacking up across the country because people are spending less because inflation is high. And this is part of the reason on why hopefully things will start to come down in price, because retailers are starting to have sales because they can't sell as much. You could see the headline here. Here's some details on this. Walmart announced this week that it will be implementing markdowns, sales across its inventory in response to too much inventory and inflation affecting consumers' abilities to shop across the country. So, hey, sales are a good thing. That's better than sky-high prices. That means prices are going to start coming down. Walmart says here, quote, the increasing levels of food and fuel inflation are affecting how consumers spend. And while we've made good progress clearing hardline categories, apparel in Walmart US is requiring more markdown dollars. Doug McMillon, the company's CEO, said in a statement about second quarter earnings outlook. And it's not just Walmart. One Twitter user was ecstatic about the furniture and home decor sales at Target last week, saying, quote, Target's having a sale. Studio McGee between 25 to 30% off. My cart is just full of vibes right now. I got bookends, a bowl, beverage, pitcher set, round mirror, and a full vases yesterday. Now I'm trying to find which Target has the lamps I want and throw pillows for my bedroom, as an example. Yeah, not bad. Promoting shopping deals might seem surprising after months of rising inflation, but some retailers are announcing huge summer sales this summer as they struggle to adjust to Americans' changing shopping habits and less people buying. And the sales might help offset some of the pain that rising prices have inflicted. Yeah, it's the result of the response to last year's supply chain crisis finally catching up with companies. The merchandise on cargo ships stuck overseas a few months ago is now saturating store shelves, and retailers now need to get rid of them. Data from the St. Louis Fed shows that non-auto inventory has grown by nearly $100 billion between April 2021 and April 2022. That's bad news for stores like Target, who are now looking to cut their inventory, and good news for consumers, who are benefiting from major discounts after inflation took some bang out of their buck. Retailers like Macy's are also having sales, and other platforms like Mr. Porter and Farfetch are currently having discounts in the 50 to 70% range. Yeah, and this is because, Walmart's seeing trends like this. You can see this headline here. Walmart customers are spending on food and not much else as inflation takes a toll. So, Walmart's seeing a significant hit here, and so are other retails. So now they're basically trying to curb that and trying to move inventory that they have a surplus on and creating sales. And in today's episode of You Can't Make This Stuff Up, the story caught my eyes. I thought it was absolutely crazy. A major cable company, I'll let you guys guess which one, I'll show you here in a second, was ordered to pay $7 billion, $7 billion to the family of a Texas woman who was murdered by a repairman. 7 billion, not million, 7 billion. Here's just a quick rundown of what happened here. A Texas woman here, Betty Jo McLean Thomas, was murdered by a Charter cable repairman. Charter is owned by Spectrum. A Texas jury ordered Charter to pay $7 billion in punitive damages because the cable repairman arrived in the company's van while off the clock. Charter, which owns Spectrum, was also deemed responsible last month for $337 million in compensatory damages for the December 2019 murder for the same incident. Cases like these rarely go to trial, but there was exceptional issues to this. The man pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. But Holden lied about his past jobs, and Charter didn't verify his employment. And had the company done so and discovered the lie, he would have been disqualified from being hired. There's all sorts of things here that show he had racked up disciplinary actions, taken pictures of driver's license and credit cards at the homes, and yet he continued to be sent on field calls, and that according to the police report, he returned the next day to the house. I don't want to get too graphic here. Charter then sent an overdue bill to the people's house, and it's just unbelievable here. Charter, which is owned by Spectrum, then tried to force the family into arbitration by submitting documents to the court that Thomas had agreed to the company's terms of service, which included an arbitration agreement, by checking a small box when she paid her bill online. And the work completion order, which they say was signed by the lady, was actually forged. And if they had settled to arbitration, the damages would have been only $200, which was equivalent to what the final bill was. Also, I wanted to note here, he asked his operations manager, he requested mental health intervention services through the Charter Employee Assistance Program. So yeah, I know. Looks like maybe justice was served in this case. The question is, will they actually have to pay $7 billion? That could bankrupt the entire cable company, Charter/Spectrum. I don't know. Can a cable company afford to pay $7 billion on a single case? That is unbelievable. Unbelievable, because that's just, you can't make this stuff up. 7 billion. 7 billion. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. It's a sad story, but justice is served, I guess, for the family. They're going to be more than millionaires, potentially billionaires. If I'm sure the company's going to appeal or something like that, but $7 billion. I know you can't make this stuff up here. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon. It's completely free to do so. I will keep you up to date here with everything you guys need to know about here on a daily basis. You can click here to see the new Social Security payment schedule and $2,400 raise details. And Nancy Pelosi just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars with the stock trade and maybe some insider trading details. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.